Chosen one, everything else is poison in the days ahead. Only these will keep you alive. The last pure light. In the year the skies turned permanently ash gray, the world did not end with fire or flood. It ended quietly, with a slow corruption that crept into every root, every stream, every breath. The poison came not from warheads or plague vials, but from something far more insidious: the very air, the water, the food grown under artificial suns. Corporations had promised abundance. Instead, they delivered dependency. Crops engineered for endless yield now carried invisible toxins that dulled the mind, weakened the body, and severed the soul's quiet voice. Within 3 harvest seasons, most of humanity had forgotten how to dream, how to feel true hunger, how to resist. Yet there were whispers. They called him Elias. He was not born in a palace or marked by prophecy at birth. He grew up in the shadow of the last remaining forest preserve on the edge of what used to be called the Midwest, in a forgotten town where the old highway signs still read Eden's Gate, 12 miles. His mother had been a botanist who refused the corporate seed packets. She taught him the old names of plants before the language boards banned unproductive vocabulary. When she died, poisoned by the very well water the government swore was safe, Elias was 16. That night, beneath a moon stained rust red, something spoke inside him. Not a voice, but a knowing, a certainty colder than grief. You are the one who remembers. The message came again and again in dreams. Chosen one, everything else is poison in the days ahead. Only these will keep you alive. At first, he thought it madness. The world had declared natural food obsolete. Supermarkets sold only synth meat bricks, glowing nutrient gels, and flavorless loaves stamped with corporate sigils. Anything grown outside a controlled dome was labeled contaminated heritage risk and burned on sight. People who foraged were arrested as eco-terrorists. But Elias could not forget the taste of real blackberries, the sting of wild garlic, the quiet strength that came from eating what the earth still offered freely. Years passed. The poison deepened. Cities emptied as people grew listless, their eyes vacant, their movements slow. The corporations called it adaptive equilibrium. Elias called it dying. He wandered, a ghost in patched denim and a hooded cloak made from salvaged canvas. He avoided roads. He slept under stars he could no longer see clearly through the haze. And slowly, he found others. First came Mara, a former nurse who had watched patients waste away despite perfect lab results. She had stopped trusting anything that came in a package, she told him the night they met beside a poisoned creek. She had survived by stealing rainwater and chewing pine needles until her gums bled. Then Rowan, a teenage boy whose entire family had faded into comas after the mandatory enhanced diet rollout. He'd hidden in the vents of his apartment block for weeks, surviving on packets of stolen salt and memory. And finally, old Jonah, a beekeeper whose hives had somehow endured in a hidden ravine. The bees still made honey, real honey, dark and thick as tar, untouched by the genetic drift that killed everything else. They were not an army. They were 4 ragged souls who refused to forget taste, texture, life. Elias led them north, toward the rumor of an untouched valley beyond the corporate border walls. The journey was brutal. Drones hunted foragers. Patrols shot on sight anyone carrying wild plants. Water sources shimmered with iridescent film. One sip could leave you euphoric for hours, then catatonic forever. But Elias carried the prophecy like a coal in his chest. Only these will keep you alive. He began to understand what these meant. Not just food, though food was the first layer. It was 3 sacred things, simple and ancient, that the poisoned world had forgotten. Water, drawn at first light before the sun's heat woke the toxins trapped in the soil. Collected in clay vessels, never metal or plastic, it carried memory of clean rain. Honey, untouched by machines, harvested by hand under moonlight. It held enzymes that neutralized synthetic poisons, enzymes the body still remembered how to use. A single spoonful could clear the fog from a mind for days. The bitter root of the dandelion dug deep where no fertilizer had reached. Roasted over fire, it cleansed the blood and sharpened the spirit. It tasted of earth and defiance. These three, water at dawn, wild honey, dandelion root, became their Eucharist, their shield, their rebellion. They moved like shadows through ruined farmland. Elias taught the others to listen to the land again. Mara learned to feel the pulse of a stream before drinking. Rowan learned to find hidden bee trees by following the low, golden hum. Jonah showed them how to coax life from cracked soil with nothing but patience and seeds saved from his grandmother's garden. One night, camped in the husk of an abandoned orchard, they were surrounded. Corporate enforcers, armored, faceless, emerged from the mist. Their rifles hummed with blue charge. A commander stepped forward, voice modulated through a helmet. By order of the Harmony Accord, surrender all unauthorized biomass. Consumption of heritage flora is a Class 1 ecological crime. Elias stood slowly. His hands were empty. Behind him, Mara clutched a clay jug of dawn water. Rowan hid a comb dripping honey. Jonah held a fistful of dark roots. You call this poison freedom. We call it survival. The commander laughed, cold and electronic. You are relics. The future does not need your nostalgia. He raised his weapon. But then, the wind changed. A low drone rose, not mechanical, but alive. Bees. Thousands of them pouring from the dead orchard like liquid gold. They swirled around the enforcers in a furious cloud. The soldiers fired wildly, beams cutting through the swarm, but the bees were relentless. Stings found gaps in armor, found exposed necks. The commander staggered, clawing at his helmet. In that chaos, Elias shouted, "Now!" They ran. Mara poured the dawn water over their faces to wash away any trace venom or toxin. Rowan smeared honey on cuts to seal them. Jonah crushed dandelion root into a paste and pressed it to their wrists, bitter medicine against whatever chemical darts might have grazed them. They escaped into the hills as the enforcers fell, not dead, but convulsing, their bodies rejecting the very purity they had tried to destroy. Weeks later, the four reached the valley. It was real. A bowl of green cradled by mountains, fed by springs that still ran clear, wild apple trees heavy with fruit, bees droning in wildflowers, no domes, no patrols, just earth, breathing. They knelt at the first spring. Elias filled the clay jug, lifted it to the light. The water caught the sun like liquid crystal. He passed it to Mara, then Rowan, then Jonah. They drank. For the first time in years, tears came, not from sorrow, but from remembering what alive felt like. Elias looked at the sky, still gray, but no longer choking. He whispered the words that had carried him this far. Chosen one, everything else was poison in the days ahead. Only these kept us alive. And somewhere, deep in the valley, a new seed pushed through soil, small, stubborn, green. In the fractured epoch of 2147, when the world's veins ran thick with synthetic sludge, the end did not announce itself with cataclysmic roars. It slithered in silently, disguised as progress. The megacorporations, united under the banner of Eternicorp, had rewritten nature's code. Fields once golden with wheat now pulsed with bioluminescent crops engineered for infinite yield. Rivers, rerouted through filtration grids, sparkled with chemical clarity. Air, scrubbed by orbital purifiers, carried the faint tang of ozone and obedience. But beneath this veneer of abundance lurked the poison. Neurotoxins woven into every grain, every droplet, every inhale. They dulled rebellion, eroded memory, and turned humanity into compliant shadows, their dreams replaced by corporate holograms flickering in the night. The masses called it the Great Satiation. Elias knew it as the Great Forgetting. Elias Thorne was born in the remnants of what maps once labeled Nebraska, in a derelict outpost called Havens Hollow. His mother, Leora, had been a renegade agronomist, expelled from Eternicorp for questioning the enhancements in their seed vaults. She raised him on stories of the old world, tales of soil that didn't glow, water that quenched without numbing the tongue, and food that fed the spirit as much as the body. "Remember, Elias," she'd whisper as they tended their hidden garden, "the earth speaks truth. Everything else is poison." When Leora succumbed to the tainted aquifer at age 42, her last words etched into Elias's soul. "You are the chosen one. In the days ahead, only these will keep you alive." She pressed into his hand a weathered journal, its pages filled with sketches of forgotten plants and cryptic rituals. That night, under a sky choked with drone patrols, Elias dreamed of a voice like rustling leaves. "Chosen one. Everything else is poison in the days ahead. Only these will keep you alive." He awoke changed. No longer a boy scavenging scraps from corporate drop pods, he became a seeker. At 22, lean and scarred from evasion runs, he set out from Havens Hollow with nothing but his mother's journal, a rusted knife, and an unyielding certainty. The prophecy wasn't mere delusion, it was a map to survival. The world beyond the hollow was a wasteland of domed megacities interconnected by maglev tubes where citizens queued for daily rations of Nutri-Gel, a viscous slurry that promised eternal health but delivered only apathy. Billboards blared slogans, Eternicorp, purity perfected. Dissenters vanished into rehabilitation centers, emerging with vacant smiles and implanted compliance chips. Elias's first trial came in the dust plains, a barren expanse where rogue winds carried toxic spores from failed crop experiments. Thirst clawed at his throat as he stumbled upon a shimmering oasis, a corporate water station, its pumps humming invitingly. But the journal warned, water from machines steals the dawn's essence. He waited until the first blush of sunrise, then dug a shallow basin in the earth, lining it with clay from a nearby ravine. As light pierced the haze, he collected the dew that formed, pure and untouched. One sip and clarity flooded him, memories sharpened, fatigue lifted. This was the first sacred thing, water drawn at first light, vessel of the earth's unspoiled whisper. Emboldened, he pressed on toward the Whispering Woods, a forbidden zone where ancient forests clung to life despite Eternicorp's defoliant sprays. Here, he encountered Mara Voss, a disgraced medic from the undercity of Neo-Chicago. She was foraging for edible fungi when Elias found her, collapsed against a gnarled oak, her skin pallid from withdrawal. "They hooked me on the gels," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I cut out my chip, but the cravings, they never stop." Elias shared his dawn water, watching as color returned to her cheeks. In gratitude, she joined him, her medical knowledge a boon. Mara had seen the poison's toll firsthand, patients wasting away, their organs failing despite perfect diagnostics. It's not just the body, it's the soul they're erasing. Together, they delved deeper into the woods, guided by the journal's maps. Whispers of a hidden hive led them to a secluded glade, where bees danced in defiance of the pollinator drones that dominated the skies. But harvesting was perilous. Eternicorp's synthetic bees carried stingers laced with trackers. Elias remembered the prophecy's second gift, honey untouched by machines, gathered under the moon's watchful eye. That night, as silver light bathed the hive, they approached with bare hands, humming an old lullaby from Leora's notes to calm the swarm. The honey flowed like molten amber, rich with enzymes that countered the neurotoxins. A spoonful banished Mara's tremors, igniting a fire in her eyes. This is life, real life. Their duo became a trio in the ruins of an old highway rest stop where they rescued Rowan Hale, a wiry 15-year-old orphan. Rowan had survived by hacking vending machines for expired Nutrigel packs, but his family hadn't been so lucky. "Mom and Dad just stopped," he said, staring at the ground. "Ate the new batch, went to sleep, never woke up." His anger was a spark Elias fanned into purpose. Rowan proved invaluable, his tech-savvy mind repurposing salvaged drone parts into early warning alarms. But the boy carried shadows. Nightmares of his siblings' hollow gazes haunted him. As they traversed the fractured Badlands towards the northern sanctuaries, rumors of their defiance spread through underground networks, flickering comlinks in abandoned bunkers. Eternacorp responded with hunter squads, elite enforcers augmented with neural implants for tireless pursuit. One ambush came at dusk in a canyon laced with glowing vines. The squad's leader, a cybernetic brute named Vex, sneered through his visor. "Heretics, your natural ways are obsolete. Surrender, and we'll grant you merciful integration." Elias's group fought back with cunning, not force. Rowan rigged a drone to emit a disorienting frequency, while Mara hurled pouches of fermented dandelion extract, corrosive to their armor. But in the melee, Elias was grazed by a toxin dart, his vision blurring. It was then he unearthed the third sacred thing from the journal, the bitter root of the dandelion, harvested from depths untainted by chemicals. Roasted over a fire of deadwood, it brewed a tea that purged the blood like fire through veins. Elias drank, the bitterness a clarion call to his cells. He rose, rallying his companions to escape into the night. Word of their survival drew more to their cause. In the fog-shrouded marshes of the Great Lakes remnants, they met Jonah Kemp, an octogenarian beekeeper whose lineage traced back to pre-corporate days. His ravine hideout sheltered a thriving apiary, the bees genetically pure through generations of isolation. "The queens remember," Jonah rasped, his hands gnarled like roots. "They pass down the old ways." He joined them, bringing not just honey but wisdom, tales of forgotten ecosystems, and the interconnected web of life Eternacorp had severed. Their band grew to include others: Leela, a former Eternacorp defector with insider maps; Kai, a nomadic scout skilled in evasion; and Sarah, a young visionary who claimed dreams of a pure veil lifting. Together, they formed the Remnants, a loose alliance forging paths through poisoned territories, sharing the three sacred elements with those who sought them. But Eternacorp's grip tightened. They unleashed the Purge Protocol, orbital strikes on suspected natural zones, drone swarms dispersing airborne suppressants. The Remnants' journey north became a gauntlet. In the Iron Spires, a labyrinth of derelict skyscrapers, they faced betrayal. A supposed ally, corrupted by hidden implants, led enforcers to their camp. Chaos erupted, lasers slicing the air, the acrid smell of burning synth flesh. Elias, cornered on a crumbling ledge, invoked the prophecy aloud. "Chosen one, everything else is poison." The words ignited something primal. Jonah's bees, released from hidden hives, formed a living shield, their stings targeting neural ports. Mara administered dandelion poultices mid-battle, while Rowan hacked the Enforcer's comms, broadcasting screams of awakening as the pure elements clashed with artificial augmentations. They prevailed, but at cost. Kai fell, his body claimed by a collapsing beam. Grief forged their resolve. The climax awaited in the shadowed peaks, the rumored untouched valley beyond Eternacorp's border wall, a monolithic barrier of energy fields and automated turrets. Scaling it required all their ingenuity. Leela's maps revealed weak points, Sarah's visions guided timing, and the Sacred Three sustained them. Dawn waters sharpened senses for the climb. Honey fueled endurance through freezing nights. Dandelion root countered the wall's electromagnetic pulses that induced hallucinations. Breaching the summit, they beheld the valley, a verdant cradle, rivers crystal clear, forests teeming with unaltered life. No haze, no drones, just the Earth's raw symphony. But Eternacorp's final assault followed. Vex, rebuilt and vengeful, led an aerial fleet. "You think purity saves you?" he broadcasted. "It's weakness." The battle raged. Remnants used the land itself, diverting streams to short-circuit drones, unleashing bee swarms amplified by Jonah's ancient calls, scattering dandelion spores that rooted in armor cracks, blooming into corrosive vines. Elias confronted Vex atop a waterfall, the Enforcer's blades whirring. "You're poisoned," Elias said, offering a vial of the three mixed elixir of truth. Vex hesitated, a flicker of humanity breaking through. He drank, convulsing as memories flooded back, a childhood in green fields before the corporations. In his final act, he sabotaged his own fleet, plummeting into the abyss. Victory was bittersweet. The valley became their sanctuary, a beacon for more remnants. Elias, now a leader etched with scars, planted Leora's seeds in fertile soil. As the first sprouts emerged, he gathered his companions around a fire, sharing the elements. "We were chosen, not by fate, but by remembrance. Everything else was poison, but these, dawn's water, moon's honey, earth's bitter root, kept us alive." In the days ahead, the veil lifted. Whispers spread beyond the peaks, seeds of rebellion taking root. The world, long forgotten, began to awaken. And in that awakening, hope bloomed eternal.